95 to 99% of all of our spending is unconscious, emotional, and automatic. As soon as you non-consciously make a decision to spend, our biology starts to react. And it's fascinating what happens, but it will cost you a fortune. To begin, your body engages. I mean, your entire body. And you start pumping a neurotransmitter called dopamine. The dopamine starts pumping out, and you're already thinking about owning the product before you even get in the store. Now, this isn't a big deal if you're buying a cup of coffee or a chocolate bar or something like that. But if you're going in to buy a new car or you're taking a major trip, that dopamine could put you in a position you spend 5 to 10 times more than you expected on something you may not even think you need, but your brain says you need to own it.
Hello, welcome to Healing Millions podcast. Today, I have an honor privilege to have amazing Ted McLyman on my show. Ted is a reformed financial advisor who teaches people how conventional wisdom about money is actually sabotaging their success. Ted spent years studying psychology, consumer behavior, and today we will discuss about why we behave in a certain way with money and how can we break free from those habits that keep us stuck. Ted, thank you so much for being on my show. It's my honor and pleasure to have you here.
Nina, it is a pleasure to be here. Talking to people on the other side of the world is one of the things I enjoy most in life.
Thank you, Ted. Ted, when I talk to my audience, they usually say the money is the biggest issue why they feel stuck in their life. I would love to talk about this because I really want to challenge people who are listening to this. Is the money the problem or how we behave with money is the problem? What do you say?
The answer is yes. And let me elaborate a bit. Um, I've been working with people on money my entire life. And I started like most of you. I grew up in a family and I learned about money there. Then I was involved in different peer groups and friends, and I learned to spend the way they spend. Then I moved away, started my career, and was introduced to different cultures and different people. And the common denominator was we're all people. We all do very human things with money. Most of it is a little out of control. And nobody talks about the behavioral part of money. We always talk about the technical side. And through my experience over years of working with hundreds of people like your listeners, it's time to change that. And that's what I hope we're going to talk about today.
Thank you so much. Ted, in your book, you say that humans are not hardwired to work well with money because we are too emotional. If
Yep.
that's true, does that mean that we are fighting against our own biology every time when we try to budget, save, or invest?
Absolutely. And that's a great question. And that's something we don't think about. One of the reasons is that 95 to 99% of all of our spending is unconscious, emotional, and automatic. Think about it for a second. Our brains and our bodies have been around, or the biology has been around for eons. And it developed and evolved to do a couple of things, and it does it very, very well. And that's keep us alive and pass on our genes. Think back in the day, thousands of years ago, you're standing on the savannah looking at water on the other side. It's about 100 meters away, and you have to make a decision. I'm thirsty. I need water. Can I get across the savannah without being lunch for somebody else? That's the dilemma we've been facing for eons. Now, let me factor in something else now. Money's only been around for a few thousand years. So where do you think the dominant behavior comes from? Staying alive or learning how to do taxes and make change? It's that simple. Our biology has not caught up with our economy.
Thank you, thank you. So for some of my listeners who are listening to this conversation, they might even think, okay, but I think I'm rational with money. But most of us are not. And why is understanding consumer behavior so crucial if we want to change our financial habits?
Yeah. Let me share a quick story. I was a financial advisor for a number of years. I started in the very traditional pipeline, did what I was told. Then I opened my own firm called Apex Behavioral Financial Solutions because I learned in my journey working with people that we are emotional animals who who do most everything based on emotion. Well, I had a client come in. He had a PhD in statistics, a brilliant man. He carried in with him about 6 or 7 notebooks. He could account for every penny he'd paid or he'd paid out or spent during his professional career. And then we got in an argument because I said, "You are an emotional spender." And he argued with me emotionally for about 5 minutes, trying to explain to me that he was rational. Bottom line is, it's the emotions that make us human. We do most everything from an emotional point of view. And the key is it's instantaneous. It's automatic. Let me ask you a question. Has anybody ever gone out to buy a gift for somebody and you get mesmerized by the process? You get taken in. You end up spending a lot of money on a beautiful gift for yourself, but not so much on the person you actually are going to buy the gift for. That's a human behavior. That's an emotional behavior. So keep in mind, we are emotional animals who think. We're not thinking animals with emotions.
So that's a really powerful statement. Before I became a healer and started working with healers, I was working in market research and we did a lot of studies understanding why people behave in a certain way, why people make purchase decisions, which was very interesting. And I loved it because it really helped me understand humans at a much deeper level. And we work for big brands, of course, in this institute, and I got really firsthand what this means to have a research, understand your behavior, and how these big companies are using our emotions and our behavior to drive sales. And we already talked about this when we got on a call first time that Starbucks made pumpkin seeds so important that now everybody wants to have pumpkin seeds. And we also know that Coca-Cola made Christmas very special. Before Coca-Cola, it wasn't so special. Easter was more special than Christmas, but now Christmas is everything. So, what would you say? What happens to our brains when we enter the store and when we see all these products on the shelves and we see, oh my God, I just need this. I need everything. It's on sale, especially when it's on sale.
Boy, you said a lot there, and it there's a lot to unpack. The first thing you need to understand is marketeers have figured out the emotional part of our spending. And you need to understand that. So everything in the modern economy, and I'm saying all of us now in the Western world live in a consumption economy. It's just evolved that way. Yeah, a Nash cartoon of Santa Claus became Father Christmas, Santa Claus. The polar bear was invented by Coke. And I lived in Japan for a while, and they celebrate a Christian holiday in a non-Christian country as aggressively as they do, but they do one thing that's kind of unique that explains marketing. They celebrate it with Kentucky Fried Chicken. Okay. Now, how's that an impact of culture and behavior on our spending? What we need to understand is we're in the business of living our lives daily. As soon as you non consciously make a decision to spend, our biology starts to react. And it's fascinating what happens, but it will cost you a fortune. To begin, your body engages. I mean, your entire body. And you start pumping a neurotransmitter called dopamine. Dopamine is wonderful. It's the feel good hit thing that's the anticipation of spending that drives us out there. It drives us to our goals. Let me give you an example. Have you ever thought about something you needed to own and you go to the computer and you look it up and you look it up again and you tag it and the computer knows you're there and it comes and follows you around everywhere you go. And then finally you're going downtown or you're going to the mall or someplace and you see what you're looking for. Well, your brain just blows up and it gauges the dopamine starts pumping out, and you're already thinking about owning the product before you even get in the store. Now, because of marketeers, you're primed because they have been sending you information, and non-consciously you already own that product. Now, this isn't a big deal if you're buying a cup of coffee or a chocolate bar or something like that. But if you're going in to buy a new car or you're taking a major trip, that dopamine could put you in a position you spend 5 to 10 times more than you expected on something you may not even think you need, but your brain says you need to own it. Here's the other insidious thing about dopamine. After you buy it, the dopamine drops down. Then the regret may come in, maybe buyer's remorse, because you're not pumped up the same way and your body takes a different emotional reaction. And that's the cycle we're in when we're spending. Again, it's not a problem for minor things. But if you're on social media, if you're dealing with technology, you're being bombarded with this stuff. I find it's fascinating that Korean K-pop bands are mesmerizing young people throughout the world. They don't understand the language, they don't understand the culture, but they know they need a t-shirt or a sweatshirt or a piece of memorabilia from a concert, and they don't even really know what's going on. That's us on money.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that great explanation. Ted, you already touched on this, but I want to really go deeper into this subject because it's really, really important. You already said that we make purchase decisions subconsciously. And in your book, you talk more about how our purchase behaviors are driven by values we have. Can we talk about that, please?
Yeah, again, my journey to where we are, I started very traditionally. I had a full career in the United States Marine Corps before I got started, retired as a lieutenant colonel. And during that journey, as an officer, I dealt with a lot of young people that the first time they had money, they did really crazy things. I taught economics at the United States Naval Academy with some of the smartest young men and women in the country, and they were acing it in a classroom but failing miserable in life. Then I worked as an aide to uh, in our government and worked with our political class, and I don't even want to talk to them about money. So what I learned is during that journey, and then when I became a financial advisor, nobody ever talked about values. Through that entire journey, we talked about goals. Goals are important. Goals are a tangible, measurable process to achieve something, and everybody needs to have goals. But what we never talk about is the value-driven aspect of that buying decision. Your values are what hold you together. Your values are your inner feelings, your inner emotionals of what you hold true to yourself and your principles. Your values drive your decision making in everything you do. So whether you believe it or not, you have a value driven spending behavior, but you've never looked at it that way because we in the financial industry never talk about values. We assume values and goals are the same thing, and they're not. Goals are different. For example, you may tell me that you value a comfortable retirement, but your behavior tells me you like to eat out. You like to fly to the Caribbean a couple times a year. You like to do fill in the blanks. I don't care which is which, but if I have sat down with you and looked at your calendar and your spending behavior, I would tell you what your values are. Where you spend your time is their dominant value with your time, which is a scarce resource. Where you spend your money is your dominant money value. And that's the foundation of everything you do. And it's a starting point with everything I talk about with people, because whether you non-consciously, that's what drives you. So no.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that explanation. I think it's very important that we understand that values drive our decisions. And I also noticed in my research that people usually value things they didn't have in the childhood or things they missed in the childhood or they wish they had. And this is what usually drives behavior people. What is your approach on that?
That gets into where we get our values set. I mean, we're in infancy, there's neurological studies about how imprinting before birth and the like, and you've heard about, play Mozart or play Beethoven or something, and you're going to have a wonderful child who's going to be a genius. I'm not going to go that direction, but bottom line, we know that our brains are infinitely plastic. There's a lot of plasticity, particularly when we're young. So by age 3, we know that the family environment has a significant impact on your values. And incidentally, the subset of that is your money. So values, we live a values-driven life. Now, values can change and modify over time based on life experience. That's normal. If not, we would never get out of our 3 to 5 year old needs for crazy looking t-shirts and cartoons and things like that. Okay, I get that. I'll give that to you. But I believe if you're really serious about money, there's one question you must answer. And the question is very simple. What is important about money to you? And I don't mean that on a day-to-day basis. I mean, in a lifestyle wellness perspective, what is important about money to you? And in the book, I talk about and give you some exercises to use linguistic programming or chunking to answer that question. And it's going to be unique to you based on your biology, your value set, your belief set, and the culture you live in. It can change, but if you don't know your values, you may be very surprised where you end up.
I love that. I love the book because it really gives you action steps. You can follow it, gives you questions to answer. It's really practical. And I really love that. And in your book, you teach money behavior system. It has 5 stages. And we already touched on values. And you also talk about money temperament. What what does it really mean? And how can knowing our temperament save us from repeating the same mistakes over and over again?
Let me give a little background on the money behavior system. As a financial advisor, again, I told you I was doing everything I was told to do in a large international financial company, and I was very good at it. It took me a while. I thought I was a financial advisor. Really, I was a sales guy. My job was to go out there and sell stuff. I was no different than the person down at the Mercedes dealership selling cars. I just had a nicer looking office. I wore a suit and I sold financial products. After about a year and a half of training, and we were trained to follow a very regimented system to walk you through the sales cycle or the sales funnel to get you to the point where you wanted to become a client and purchase a financial product or service. Okay, I became very disenchanted with that. And I was a sales guy. I became a manager, very successful there also. And then I broke off and I built my own firm. What I discovered was number one, I was not in the business of managing money. And it hit me like a ton of bricks. I thought I was a money manager. I thought I'd help people in that arena. No, my job was to manage behavior. So after working with a number of people and looking at the traditional financial planning cycle, which usually begins with goal setting, I'm saying this is broken. This is not working. I said, number one, you've got to understand I'm dealing with people that aren't rational. They're emotional. And if I'm dealing with couples, I've got two people with very different emotions. You know that. If you've got a spouse, partner, kids, or unless you live in a cave, okay, you know that people are different, even people that are close to each other, and they have very different values and behaviors with money. So that was a starting point. Wrote my first book for my clients, and in that, I started working with what I call the money behavior system. And what I did fundamentally is reject the traditional path, goal setting, give me some money, a little bit of quick math. Trust me, you give me enough time, enough money, and a reasonable rate of return, I can get you anything. But it's a fallacy. It doesn't work because it doesn't consider values and behavior. So I looked at it. I said, first, let's sit down and start talking about your values because you're going to have a value driven spending behavior, whether anybody wants to admit it or not. The next piece was money temperament. And this is a long story to get you where you answer your question. Money temperament is nothing more than a subset of your natural behavior. So, what's your natural behavior? It's just your natural wiring. It's how you live in the world. It's how you interact with others. And it's a combination of your natural biology, and that's about 95% of, so it's predestined in your DNA at birth. And the other maybe 10 to 15% is learned behavior. That's culture, peer group, association, and making really dumb mistakes with money, and hopefully you learn from them. So that's who you are. But a subset of that is what I call your money temperament. And nobody talks about this because in the financial industry, we separate the two. You've got your life where you can be as emotional as you want, and then you're over with us and you're supposed to be this regimented, rational individual to be comfortable with budgets and spreadsheets and numbers and all that stuff. Unfortunately, only about maybe 20 to 30% of most humans are really good in that environment. And they naturally gravitate to that industry. So you've got this industry with all people that are just alike, trying to talk to people that really don't want to do what you're doing. And that's a conflict. And I think Nina's been in that environment. You know exactly what I mean. If you're in a room with a bunch of really analytical money managers, it's very painful. I'll just leave it at that. So what I started doing, which I think is very unique, and we do it with our other company, which is Dream Smart Behavioral Solutions, is we started looking at it very holistically. Nina knows what I'm talking about. She had the epiphany that we need to look at the whole person, the whole environment, the whole interaction. You can't segregate any one piece and say, I just don't worry about that. So what I started doing, I said, we have to bring it together. First, I need to look at you as an individual. Who are you? So if you're a natural risk taker, for example, and you're a natural spender, just because you come into my office, you're not going to change that natural wiring. So I developed a set of assessments, and we have one easy one in the book, and then we have a formal one that's much more technical and much more accurate. But we're looking at 5 or 6 things that define your behavior with money. And I'll just make it simple. Let's talk about risk. Are you a risk taker or risk adverse? Okay. If you're a bungee jumper and you like that kind of stuff and running with the bulls and chasing sharks and all that kind of crazy things, in your day to day natural behavior, you're probably going to be very comfortable in very risky money behavior, spending, investing, and saving. On the other hand, if you tend to be very risk averse, that type of behavior will also be reflected in your money temperament. Now, this is what's key. I don't care what it is. I don't judge, but you need to know what it is. So if you're a spender, embrace it, but you then need to take steps to manage it. If you're really cheap, that can be also very dysfunctional. You need to embrace that and learn how to mitigate that behavior. Where we get in trouble with most of our financial planning and most financial literacy, the conventional wisdom, the traditional way of doing things with money, finance, and the like is you're a rational being. If I just give you another spreadsheet, another budget, another fill in the blank, you'll just fall in line and be fine. Well, how's that working out? It's not. Money temperament is the piece that nobody talks about. So that's the second step. Values nobody's talking about, and nobody's talking about money temperament, but you need to know it.
Are you tired of feeling exhausted, drained, and overwhelmed no matter how hard you try to keep it all together? You take care of everybody else, your friends, your family, always showing up for them. But who is taking care of you? What if you can go from overwhelmed to peaceful, from exhausted to energized in just 30 minutes a day? Imagine ending your day feeling calm, grounded, and actually excited to wake up in the morning. I invite you to join the Healing Millions community. Inside of a community, you will experience live healing sessions every single weekday, guided by 10 healer experts using proven methods like energy healing, emotional release, and tapping, so you can finally release the stress, sleep deeply, and wake up feeling excited and fully and joyfully alive again. Real humans, real support, right when you need them most. You don't have to do this alone anymore. Come, join us. Click the link below or scan the QR code to join us now. Because if not now, when? Your peace, your joy, your energy, they matter. You matter. Come and join us inside Healing Millions community. We look forward to seeing you there. When I worked at bank, people will save, they will try to stay on track, and they will try to hit their financial goals. And then they fell in love, and they'll all of a sudden take all of their money and spend it, or do some crazy things. They will save the money the whole year, and then they'll go on vacation and then spend all their money. So we saw that all the time. So when I was working at the bank, and when I was also doing the research, I I realized that people make really irrational purchase decisions based on what they value, and how people will perceive them is also very important, because they want to be seen as somebody who has the money. They will even take a loan to buy clothes or go to on vacation or visit their family. I saw that all, and that's why when you were talking about these things, I think they're so important to understand what are our values and what is our money temperament, and start looking there, and you will understand yourself so much better at much deeper level, and you can find the strategy that works for you. And that's why I wanted to have this conversation, because I know so many people struggle with money, and I wanted to really to help them have epiphany and start looking into much deeper reasons why they have a money problems. Ted, I really want to talk to you about this, about money lessons people need to know, because they don't teach this in the school. The most important lessons we never learn is how to manage our behavior and manage our emotions, and how to manage money. But both of them are really, really important. What are 2 to 3 lessons everybody needs to know about money?
Well, let me give you another metaphor, and let's talk about driving a car. Driving a car is a universal behavior in a modern society. Where you live, you drive a little faster, and all I know is the bad outcomes are a little bit more serious. Okay, if you came to me and said, Ted, I want to learn how to drive. Can you help me? I could do it the way we do in financial planning. I could give you some textbooks. I could give you some technical reports. I could run out a spreadsheet. I could send you YouTube videos and social media. Then I throw you the keys and say, get on the Autobahn and you kill yourself, because that's technical driving. Or I could say, Nina, that's a great idea. First, why do you want to drive? What's important about driving to you? Is it for sport? Is it for recreation? Is it just for a convenience? Uh, why? Why do you want to drive? Then I want to talk about your driving temperament. Your driving temperament. How are you with road rage? How are you at attention? How is your dexterity? All of that stuff. And then teach you how to drive a car that works for you, using your natural behavior to make you a better driver. Who would you rather ride in the back seat with? The person that knows the technical parts about the car, or the person that drives behaviorally? I teach people how to drive with money. That's the fundamental difference. So this is what you need to understand. However, whatever your relationship is today with money is okay. It is okay. Whether you're fighting me on this one, embrace the fact that you're emotional with money. Even when you're making a large consequential purchase and you think you're being as careful as possible, down below, deep in your body, you're making emotional decisions instantaneously, generally before you even decide you do it. You pick the color of that car because something inside you triggered it that you like blue. That's You have to just accept the fact that you're an emotional spender. And that's counter to everything else everybody's telling you, except the marketeers. Then you have to be very honest with your temperament with money, how you naturally spend, but embrace it. I think one of the biggest challenges I had, what causes the most anxiety with people and money, is they're trying to do something they're not wired to do naturally with their money. and this I saw this all the time in relationships where I refused to talk to any client unless all the principals were there. So if it was a couple, it's the two principals in the relationship, and they were wired absolutely differently. But the traditional approach says we're going to put you all in the same box, and if you don't get it, it's your fault. It's not my fault. That's wrong. You don't do anything else in your life. Why do you tolerate it with money? The other problem is you have an infinite ability to rationalize most anything you do, particularly with money. Why did you buy a new car? Well, blah, fill in the blank. Why did you take that second trip to fill in the blank? Well, blah, 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 blah. This is your fourth trip to the Christmas market. Why? The house is decorated, okay? Like 5 times over. That's a human behavior. Not only, and then we have another bias was called confirmation bias. We're herding animals. Let's go back a bit. We like to be around people like ourselves, which is a good thing. That's a preservation behavior. It's natural. It's part of our instinct. However, your peer group, the herd, puts us in a position to do things maybe we don't necessarily want to do, or economically, or to our well-being. So when you're packing everybody into the vehicle that you just learned how to drive, and you're hopefully driving behaviorally, and you're going to some shopping center, and there are a lot of people just like you, there's a lot going on, and it's all designed to separate you from your money. You have to understand that important. Now, if you just stop and didn't accept the fact you never get out of the house, if you didn't accept the fact you have biases and you're emotional with your money, what you have to do, and this is the challenge I give everybody I work with, you have to know the difference between an important consequential purchase or just normal stuff. I don't begrudge you a designer cup of coffee, but every day or times a day at that price, that gets a little out of hand. I don't begrudge you normal things in life to make your life comfortable and take care of your family. But when it comes to spending significant money that is going to have long-term consequences, you have to sit down and force yourself from what I call your feeling brain to your thinking brain. Your feeling brain is your default and in control. It's actually your whole body working on you. But it's to make it simple, feeling brain, that's your primitive natural brain. It's very quick, it's emotional, it reacts, it keeps you alive. That's where you spend probably 90% of your time, and that's where you're most comfortable. Your thinking brain, on the other hand, is your modern brain. Slow, it's deliberate, it's analytical. The problem is we're not as comfortable in our thinking brain. It takes a lot more energy to stay there. We like to default back. So here's the key. When you're shopping, enjoy that feeling brain. Look at the car on the internet. Go down to the dealership and touch it. Go drive it. But when you make the transition from showroom to signing the contract, you have to do something that triggers the move from this is fun to this is serious. And whether you like it or not, you have to put your thinking brain on and run the numbers. And for a lot of people, that hurts. So you need to take things with you to help you stay in that field. Maybe another person. Maybe you take notes. Maybe you have something in front of you that says, do not buy the $10,000 US upgrade for a navigation system I don't need because it's on my phone. Underline it. Okay. It's stuff like that. Understand your weaknesses, your natural wiring with money. It's okay. We don't judge, but you have to know what it is. And then it's up to you to take the countermeasures, if you will, to exist in a modern society, a modern economy that has basically one purpose in life is to separate you from your money.
Thank you, Ted. That's a really good explanation. Um, Ted, you differentiate money strategy and money plan. What is the danger of having one without the other?
The money plan is the traditional way of doing business. It's, and I'll give you the very quick example that we were taught. I got so good at this that I could talk to you on the phone, identify 3 or 4 goals. I'd have it in my mind what I'm going to offer you before you even got to the office. That's goal planning, and it would come down to, you want a retirement plan, you wanna send the children to university, you're a couple of nice things you do, and a great trip. Got it. How much money you got to work with? Got it. Well, if I can put that together and have you accomplish those things in this 3 to 5 years, is there any reason we can't do business? No. Let me put the plan together. What did I miss there? A few things, like you. And so what is so important about the money behavior system is it first, it accepts you for who you are without judging. It embraces the fact that you have a unique set of values and a unique money temperament. Also, that you process information a little differently. We all have a unique learning style. You have to understand that. If you're visual, you want to look at pictures. If you're auditory, have it explained. If you're tactile, you want to go out and touch it. That's who you are. Now, here's something that's missing between the traditional strategy and the plan is the strategy is your big picture look of where you want to go, how you're going to get there, and more importantly, what's important to that journey to you. That strategy answers the question, what is important about money to you? If your goal in life is a comfortable retirement and cruising the Mediterranean, fine, focus on it. Stay with it. Have a strategy now to move towards that what's important value, but it must incorporate a couple of other things. It must be value driven. It must embrace your money temperament or behavior. It must be presented in a way you can understand it and work with it. That's your money learning style. Once you put that together, you have what I call a one size fits you value driven behavioral based strategy that now you can own emotionally, internally, and you live your life around it. Next step is find somebody that will help you build a plan to support that strategy. And that's where the traditional industry, in my opinion, falls down.
Thank you, Ted. For somebody who is listening to this interview and it um, and feels overwhelmed by debt, stress, or confusion around money, what is one action they can do right now and that would give them back a sense of control of their future, of their money?
Breathe, count to 5, count to 10. It's okay. You're not alone. But you have to have an honest time of reflection, self reflection, without judgment. And this is where you have to be very, very honest with yourself. I think working with somebody like Nina and folks that work on the behavioral side of coaching and wellness can help greatly in this piece. Where I come in is tying them together. But it's a self audit. In the book, I have an exercise that basically you're the CEO of you. And it's almost doing an assessment that says, I'm running a business and the business is me. And I have to be brutally honest if I'm have a successful business or I'm ready to go bankrupt. Then you have to make a choice. And this is called life. I mean, we can pretend none of this stuff matters and just kind of meander on and you'll get exactly where you think you're going to be, and that's continuing to wander on. This is the tough part is and I this is again working with hundreds of people, taking an honest snapshot of where you are with money, what's important about money to you. That's difficult because nobody talks about it. And then your infinite ability to rationalize where you are can be incredibly self-destructive. So literally breathe, count to 10, call Nina if you have to, read the book if you need to. It's okay. I'm assuming you're not having really dysfunctional behavior, which is a whole different thing. We're not talking about that. We're talking to people that are kind of pretty average, either spender or a lot of saver, one standard deviation from the middle. You're human. You're going to do human things with money. That's your default. You're going to be influenced by the people around you. You're going to be influenced by your environment. So you have to take measures to mitigate that, to control that, and filter so you're always moving forward to what's important about fill in the blank to you.
Thank you so much for being on my show today. I love your book, Confession of a Former Financial Advisor. It's available on Amazon. If people want to connect with you and work with you, how they can find you.
TedMcLyman.com. That's my website. I do have a coaching business. I'm not as advanced as Nina. I'm just kind of getting started in it. Fairness, I've been a coach all my life, but I've never been out independent doing this. And we're putting it together. If you've got questions, join the site. I've got a community there we're building. What I'm hoping to do is form an army of people that are kind of fed up with business as usual and realize that a sane modern society cannot continue with just rampant consumption unabated. Values and behavior and culture are important, and they have to be a consideration. And you need to also understand that technology is making it much easier to spend money and much harder to be accountable. So embrace the fact that you're human. Embrace the fact that you're going to do human stuff with money. That's what makes us who we are. But enjoy the road, but make sure it's fit to you. That's the best thing I can say. But join me at tedmcclyman.com. Take the book. It's an easy book. It's written for books that hate money books. I don't talk about money. There's no product. There's no recommendation. I don't think there are any numbers in the book anyplace. Uh, it's your guidebook to better choices immediately in 5 easy steps. And I'm going to give you a quick tip right now. If you take a screenshot of the cover of the book and you put it on your phone, before you go shopping, you flash that cover up on your phone and look at it for about 10 or 15 seconds. You will spend better and you won't even know why because I'm looking at you.
Thank you, Ted, so much for being on my show today. For everybody who is listening or watching this episode, if this episode inspired you, touched you, moved you, please share it with your friends and family members and help them with their financial situation. Thank you so much for being here today. Until next time, be brave, shine your light because the world needs that love and light inside of you more than ever. I'm sending you lots of love and big hug. Bye for now.